Hey everybody, we are live now. This is Matt Carulli with Reed Smith, casting the Game 2 of the NPC Consolation semifinals between Dan Tartaglione and Kallin. Dan, good evening, Reed. Dan won Game 1 by 23, is that right?
You're asking me?
Yeah, of course I'm
I'm
asking you.
pretty sure that's the score, yes.
I brought you
Although
in.
I am not, I don't know about the lost pile tiebreaker.
Yeah, it was a big diff on the lost piles. I remember. So I think for all intents and purposes, Kyle's going to have to win by 24 to advance, and he's got CCT. Looks like he's got 10 in hand. I didn't see any methods necessary. Perhaps I think is what we're seeing. And he started with.
Yeah, he's playing the Boba Fett stuff.
Is it the Fett? Okay, I was going to say, is it Fett
Yeah,
or is it
Boba
a?
Fett V in the blaster rifle.
Excellent. And then Dan's got Throne Room mains, Saitor, Walkling, and Insurrection combo. Yes.
This
All right.
CCT deck currently quite popular with Chris Kelly, although his entire deck is foil.
I don't know how many foils Kyle has here. We'll see. All right. So Dan, we talked to him a bit earlier. Reed, obviously, we're on his team, and we talked about deck choices and his card choices and stuff like that. I personally think Throne Room is a pretty safe choice, considering he won Game 1 by such a wide margin. How do you feel about the choice?
Yeah, how does Throne Room lose by 20 plus?
Have you ever lost with Throne Room by 20?
Not to my recollection.
You just forgot about those games then?
Yeah. There might have been a couple of dozen games in which that happened, but then I just blocked them out of my mind. No,
Smart.
You can't prove a negative, but pretty sure. But let's not dogpile on Kyle too early, because this is basically the home team broadcast.
It is, yeah. How do you feel about the CCT any methods necessary? Do you think this is a deck that has the capability of winning pretty big?
For someone like myself who has played a decent amount of CCT in the past, I have not kept up with it. Yeah, I don't know.
I'm kind of interested to see if this is a scum or if it's more mains.
I don't doubt that it's scum. I think that if you build the deck correctly, you need to have something. You need to have a game plan for Throne Room, which means that you need to have something for Boba Fett to swap for when you get into the audience chamber, so that you don't just get completely stomped there on turn, whatever it is, that you end up getting there.
Yeah, and he's got the passenger deck in his opening hand, which is a good start for him.
Yeah, Dan had a Wisa for the Boss Nass Chambers also, so I'd say that this was about pretty much like a 7 out of 10, 8 out of 10 start for both players. But we'll see how this first turn goes for Wolfman.
And I think he's going to have to leave Fett there with just one force saved. Now, if we look at Despair, it does make opponent's characters deploy +1 there. So even if Dan has a Spy or a Jar Jar, he probably won't have enough force with 9 to actually do anything to Fett. So Fett's probably safe. I think I personally would have wanted to draw a couple cards if I'm Kyle here, because he's got his hand down to 6 already, and he's not saving any force. He's going to use the blaster to eventually use 2 to relocate with the captive to get himself to flip CCT. But he can't do that first turn because he's only got 1 left and he can't really protect Fett. So yeah, I don't know if there's much reason for him to go down early. Jabba's prize cannot be released unless they use 3. So with 9 force, Dan is unlikely to be able to do that, but I guess maybe better safe than sorry.
Yeah, I'm not really sure what we're seeing here on turn 1 from the Wolfman. Maybe he thought that
Oh yeah, so
There's this.
as
Yeah, of course.
JediCon has played this before more than he said that he's going to use He's All Yours Bounty Hunter to move for free, which is going to make him even more susceptible. He doesn't even need a spy anymore. Um,
It's not that big a deal, though. Like I said, all that protects himself with the swamp, as long as Wolfman has something in the deck. And Stunning Meteor is the most likely candidate for that. And let's not forget also he has the wipe him out all from the deck from the chamber.
So he can actually, if he saved one here, he's gonna. Well, he didn't save one. He drew that card. He's fine. Like, if he can activate one and then use that for. And Dan's only activating 8, so yeah, I feel pretty safe with my bonus that here if I was Wolfman.
yeah, you're right. I forgot about the activation extra from the console as well. So yeah, he could swap for the Stunning Leader. You're right. That's a good point. Put some early pressure on, I suppose. There's no scum because he couldn't flip until his move phase, though. But that won't affect anything till his next turn. So Dan getting his JCC.
To complete his activation here with the Jedi Council Chamber. That was how did Wolfman get the passenger deck out on the first turn? Did he just open hand?
Yeah, it looked like he open-handed it. I didn't see him upload it.
Okay, yeah. So Dan is giving no Fs and he's gonna drop blue.
Well, if he's got a sense, then the Stunning Leader is no good. I don't believe Dan's playing anything like a Draw Their Fire, so he's possibly counting on the sense, or maybe just wants to burn the Stunning Leader.
Hey, you don't know what Dan's playing, do you, Matt?
I saw his list earlier, and I don't know if he made any changes.
Yeah, meta-wise, Stunning Leader is a pretty safe play.
Yeah. There are a
You
few
don't see too
bullets.
much impressive, most impressive.
Right.
So here goes Maldafet to swap. He's going to pick up the Stunning Leader. So we got it. The game is afoot here.
Kyle's only got 5 in hand, so there's not a whole lot he can come back with here to counter with against Luke.
Well, he has not yet pulled a card with the Audience Chamber either.
Yeah.
And Dan, with just one card in the force pile, he's going to do a projective. So that works just as good.
Yes, it does.
Just as well. Excuse me.
So, yeah, Dan doesn't have the sense, so he lets it go.
And there probably ought to have been a there is no tri-shield pull by Wolfman, but we'll let that slide.
Projective's been a little bit more popular lately, hasn't it? Like, we've seen it in some of the decks that we've played, and it's a pretty common card, I think. In a lot of, it's been popular for a few years with like a lot of the European community. They like a lot of those tricksy interrupts like that.
I never really liked that card, but I've seen it used to great effect in the Watto lists that have been going around, specifically in the Jawa format. It's pesky. The card is definitely pesky.
Yes, it is. It's my kind of card. I played the light side mirror in Jedi Mind Trick at the World Championship last year, and it's a very good card. Just being able to surprise them with something like that, especially if you're playing a deck that is kind of force choky in some ways, then it can really cause some difficult decisions for your opponent.
Speaking of shield pulls that should have happened that did not, Dan should have technically played weapons display there, anticipating the Stunning Leader. Even though it didn't happen, he still should have.
Yeah.
And I almost feel like Dan is just playing into Wolfman's hand here, despite the fact that Wolfman's hand is only 4 cards. I don't think that Kyle would have done what he did if he didn't have a plan for somebody big like Luke coming down. So I'm really actually kind of looking forward to what Kyle can materialize this turn.
now that he has scum going down, which how do you get scum? He just south side of the
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. So so Java comes down for 3, still 8 for remaining. Let's see where this goes.
Duro could chain into a droid as well. Maybe we see like a EPP Forlom, perhaps.
And already thinking towards the future in terms of what's going to happen on dance next turn. Yet, he is getting a decent amount of force
Next turn.
activating at this point. He's activating 12 with 8 in hand. I'm already starting to think about, look at this big box up. This is a bit of a beat out.
Yeah, and Dan's got 1 force left. Does not seem that Kyle's going to have enough for a Greedo here, but he's going to get an extra Battle Destiny with Proxima. Looks like Boba Fett's going to be the one to be doubled.
So imagining that Dan has,
Sorry about the Mets combo.
he can swing at.
You said if he has it, then who do you use it on? Is that what you said?
That's right.
Well, he's not going to get first swing, so Forlom's going to cancel his text first. Although, no, he can't, because he can't fire Forlom.
Correct.
That's where Dan goes here.
I think if I'm...
At this point,
Again, you've got 16 power and 3 battle. 6 and 1. So he swings it. He's going to swing it Proxima, which if he does have, that's probably the best play. Proxima's going to get thwacked.
Just enough.
Only because he got 1 each. He's going to judge like anyway. I don't like that.
He could have had a 5 for Battle Destiny then, but...
now let's see if in fact
He does have the sorry combo.
No, he doesn't have it. So, I don't know about what you think, but I may have not played Proxima if I'm Kyle, because he didn't have enough force to fire Forlom, he didn't have enough force to double with Java, and I don't think the adding a Battle Destiny was worth both of those things.
Well, he drew very poorly.
Yeah.
I disagree with you that the extra, so then I disagree with you that the extra Battle Destiny from Proxima was not worth it, because in a stone deck, you want to draw as many Destiny as possible to hopefully hit one of your red cards instead of drawing all characters like half of the fifth.
Yeah.
If one of those 3 had been a Destiny 4 or Destiny 5, and that's not what the game would have been,
but he's still taking some serious losses if he doesn't have the Hooge, which I can't imagine what this was.
Yeah, he's taken 7 overflow. And you mentioned the Jedi Lev you didn't like, and ends up he drew a Ray. So had he saved it, I mean, he would have drawn the Rescuing the Clouds. But had he not...
That's just so, come on. You're grossly outpowered, and you are drawing
1 Battle Destiny against your opponent's 3, and you used a Jedi Levitation on a weapon Destiny that was going to hit anyway.
Yeah, and he would have taken out either Jabba or Fett or both Duro and Forlom had he drawn that 5 instead. Instead, he just cleared Duro and Proxima from that whole ordeal and lost another 7 cards from the top.
But let's look at the bright side for Dan, is that Wolfman now sitting at just 2 cards in hand, nothing saved. He does get to activate the 1 for the device. But the onus is still on Wolfman to finish Dan off before those 40 cards in his life force dwindle to 1.
Yeah, and one of the cards Dan lost was another Luke, so you got to wonder how many Lukes he's got left. It seems that Dan also did not care enough about the lightsaber to lose it last. So his Luke's lightsaber is buried now. I think he's got an Anakin still in there somewhere, but I think you might want Luke's around as well. So Dan's not going to take his foot off the gas pedal. He's going to go straight back down.
This is awful.
Yeah. So Qui-Gon gets buried, and if Dan clearly didn't have the Hujix last turn, he's not going to have it now unless he draws into it with one of his last 4 cards. Could be facing quite a counterbeat right here.
One of the struggles that CCT has is that they start the range 2 side on the table. Dan could just as easily have gone to the Carbonite Chamber with his Qui-Gon here, established a drain of 2 against Wolfman's hand of 2 at the time because he had the barrier and he has one other card in hand. And he could have started a bit of a race. And he doesn't have to win the race, he just has to hang in because of his advantage in the match. But by going to the audience chamber, he obviously has put himself into a position, a bit of a compromise. So let's see how this works out for him.
So, the start of the game, we're like, Throne Room is a pretty safe bet and shouldn't lose by 24. And we are on turn 3 right now, and I think Dan's probably nervous.
Well, he hasn't played safely. You could say that it was a safe bet, but he has played recklessly.
Yep.
And I thank him for that because it's given us a little bit of entertainment value in a matchup where otherwise we might not have had that.
Well, Kyle's got 1 in hand, and I think if it's a character he can probably overflow, and it is. It's Ghana, which is almost
It's
as
a
good.
big boy.
Yeah,
it's a Ghana.
It's as good as he could have asked for with 1 character in hand, a 5 power who's going to be a 10 with Jabba.
Yes. Yeah.
That's best case scenario for Kyle, I think. Oh, Dan's got a clash, so
Pre-battle clash.
yeah, pre-battle clash on 4-LOM, so he's going to be able to swing. That helps a bit. He may not need a Hooge, but maybe, I don't know. He drew 2 cards last turn. I wonder if one of them was either a Sorry combo or a Hoojix.
What about the audience chamber text?
Yeah, Jabba came down through the audience
chamber. On Jabba, okay.
Yeah. All right, so.
Still, again, okay, so yeah, there goes 4-LOM excluded. So,
Again, thanks to, we got a 15 power plus 1 missing. It's a 6 power plus 1 for the light side.
Yeah, so.
Dan
Prevent the retrieval with simple tricks.
Yeah. One shield play that we like, actually. So we're looking here. Let's see if Dan's going to swing, and maybe he's got a Sorry combo, so let's not do any of the math yet. But right now, he's down 14.
Man, it's a Destiny 3.
Destiny 1.
Yeah, another time when he would have liked the Jedi Lev, I think. And we'll have to wait till later in the game to see if he has the Sorry combo. I don't know. So, all right. 1 BD here is just going to be a 2 for Kyle. Qui-Gon's going to be able to cover for 8 himself.
You can big draw. That's not a big draw.
Yeah, so Dan gets a 3. He's going to have to lose Qui-Gon and 5.
So again, back it up and ask yourself, how was doing that? How was deploying Qui-Gon to the audience chamber better than going to the carbonite chamber instead?
Yeah. Yeah.
Where you can drain for 2.
Yeah, and especially if you're holding a, you're not afraid of anyone down to clear you off there. I mean, you could really swing the game back around if Kyle uses the 2 cards in his hand to battle Qui-Gon at the Carbonite Chamber. So you're right, there's really nothing to be afraid of. And it would have gone towards cutting down Kyle's differential in this game. Kyle's refreshing his hand now. He's drawing up some. I also want to point out that Dan just lost 10 of 4 from hand. So if Kyle's thinking maybe that, like, Throne Room, it's probably his only ship, he can pretty safely go to space and Nalhutta and just start draining for free.
How is now not on the table yet with Jabba's Haven now?
Yeah, I think he may have missed it. He deployed Jabba's Haven a turn or 2 ago. Maybe just the system wasn't in the deck. I'm not sure.
So props to Dan for making this a game.
Yeah, thanks, Dan, I guess.
Talk about. Otherwise, we'd just be talking about the reset.
All right, so.
He did have another Luke.
Yeah.
So that's his third Luke, right?
That is his third, yes, because 1 was lost in the battle. He top decked 1.
And he did the right thing with it and put into the carbonite chamber, which we should have done with Qui-Gon. Last turn, Jar Jar is just fluff. Protects against undercovers, I guess.
Yeah.
Dan is not listening to this stream, is he?
Let's hope not. Yeah, Dan's probably holding his other Wisas. As you mentioned, I was kind of thinking Jar Jar might be a little bit premature, but you're right. He's probably got a Wisa in his hand just to make sure that U3PO doesn't come down here. And it's not like he's,
I don't necessarily. It's fine, but Jar Jar might be better off. Maybe not this turn, but maybe turn 2 might be better off at still ours.
By himself, or?
No, with something else. Something else.
Yeah, Kyle can just drain for 1, so like it really doesn't make a lot of sense what Dan was going to try to block by going with Qui-Gon, because it's literally 1. There's really no reason to go down there. I think maybe he was just trying to win the war of attrition, but like when you're in match play, you don't really care to win that war of attrition in this matchup. You just, like you mentioned, just go to the carbonite chamber and just get Kyle down as low as you can.
Right, we've been over this. It's bad news bears to go to the audience chamber there with Qui-Gon. There's no reason to do it. If he had put Qui-Gon to the carbonite chamber a couple of turns ago instead of to the audience chamber, and then followed up with this Luke play, he could have even moved Qui-Gon into the security tower, and then at some point established just like a battle ground and been draining for mass amounts.
So I misspoke. It was actually a drain of 2 with Despair out at the audience chamber, but still, Kyle actually decides not to drain, and he's going to go straight to the deploy phase and unload some more aliens. Are we going to see an all too easy here?
What does that do?
If you hit someone, they're immediately frozen if they're at the carbonite chamber.
That's it. He's not playing this deal is getting worse all the time, so it's not going to cause a force. But
no.
Yeah, I mean, if there is an all too easy, and Dan's playing Throne Room, so you got to imagine he's got all sorts of anti-lightsaber interrupts in
Yeah.
the deck.
We know he's got Wisos, obviously. Might be there tracking us. Jedi's concentration is possible. And also, Kyle hasn't drawn very well anyway, so we haven't even seen any destinies drawn by Kyle above 3, I don't think, yet. So hitting Luke might be just a pipe dream here. I have to admit, though, I love this aggressive style of a game when everyone's just like, I don't need cards in hand. I'm just going to play a bunch of guys and battle you every turn.
Oh yeah, it makes for great TV.
Yeah.
He's gonna cash into Haven. What's he gonna get?
Proxima. Yeah, he will not have enough to deploy her this turn if he wants to battle.
Yeah, curious.
Yeah, I don't like that either. He could have just retrieved her with Scum.
Is he really afraid that he might not be able to occupy 2 battlegrounds again for the rest of the game? I wouldn't be. Or is he going to, maybe he'll deploy Proxima to the audience chamber. Maybe he wants her out so that he can use her text.
Yeah, and then he would just not battle this turn? No.
Yeah. That seems, yeah, I'm very very meh on that.
All right, well, and let's not forget that Dan's got a Jar Jar here. He could Jar Jar bomb. Kyle's going to go for the gold and swing at Luke.
Yeah.
Yeah, when I saw Jabba's Haven light up, I thought he was pulling now Hutta. Well, there's the sniper that he probably wishes he had in his hand, too. Well, that's a big whiff. And it cost him...
Question mark as to why he put things in that order, but let's see how the rest of this battle goes.
Did Dan pass?
I was going to say, Dan just decided not to swing his weapon, so that's cool. Dan, he's having a little mercy.
Yeah, and he didn't even try the Jar Jar bomb either.
Jar Jar didn't swing his weapon. At mercy, Uncle Jackson.
He says it didn't allow me to swing. Oh boy, we got some more bugs happening here.
Did really miss something?
I wonder if... No, I mean... I think this is on Dan. I mean, it would not have auto-passed for him. He's got a lot of other actions he could take, so he must have just hit pass and not realized it.
Okay.
We'll see. We'll see if they do a revert. Yeah, they reverted a little bit last game, so we'll see if he lets him do it here. I don't know. I mean,
This is SWCCG in 2020.
well, when you can someone clarify?
No, nobody can clarify. Screenshots or Mac Johnson.
Yeah, I mean,
I'll be back. I can't stand this reverse stuff.
oh man, I don't want to. I can't really say. I mean, Dan says he could not swing. or use Jar Jar. Yeah, I mean, uh, there is no Advocate Magic Wand, unfortunately. This is going to just be up to them if they want to revert. I can't step in. You know, the way that we usually hold tournaments on GEMP, it's usually like a play it as it lies kind of thing. If a game is affected by a bug, there's not really much we can do. Um, Dan says he'd like to revert, and he did not draw Battle Destiny because he didn't want anything known. That's a generous, smart move by him. Hopefully, Kyle agrees. Otherwise, the game state is in all kinds of trouble. Okay, so they are going to revert here. So the reason that Dan didn't draw is because if he draws his Battle Destiny there, then he'll know what his Destiny is, and he can affect how he swings or if he uses Jar Jar. So Kyle lets him revert. They're going back to the middle of the battle. And
I'm just waiting until we get back to playing Star Wars.
In person. I mean...
No, I mean, in this game, not Revert Wars. I just want to see Star Wars.
All right, so they're replaying through here, and Mara's going to swing and miss at Luke. And then let's see if... Let's... 5... All right, Kyle says his... Okay, his power's not wrong. If we watched any of the game last night, there were so many bugs that it was just terrifying me. And so, like, now I'm kind of paranoid, and I think Dan might be as well.
I did not watch that game. What kind of bugs? What bugs are we talking about? And
so
are they listed on the PC forums?
So one of them was so it is letting Dan swing. So I'm gonna chalk this up to Dan just accidentally hitting pass. I think that's probably what happened. So last night in the game we had what is referred to generally as the AOBS bug, where characters magically lose their characteristics. And
no way, I thought that was gone.
We did too. And last night was the first I've seen it in months. And it happened in the NPC Consolation semifinals. But it happened with ISB. We've seen it happen with ISB before, and last night Dan was playing ISB. And at multiple points of the game, he had 4 agents on table and did not flip. And Tarkin was not able to cancel a Battle Destiny with an ISB agent. And so we're pretty sure that ISB agents at some point in that game lost all of their status as an ISB agent. Additionally, it seemed there was some weird stuff going on with immunity to attrition last night. Like Star Destroyers did not have immunity from quad drive yards. Emperor, just sitting by himself at the square, did not have immunity to attrition. Veers on a walker was not immune to anything. All kinds of weird stuff happening. And I haven't verified it, but it also seemed at some point that the Watcher Step smugglers were not smugglers. So there was a lot of weird stuff in that game last night. And I was just...
That's serious stuff.
It is. Yeah, it is very serious. Taco Bill made a wonderful meme of Ghana Says Goodbye with the name Quick Draw on the coffin, which I thought was very appropriate. It was really hard for me to watch last night because of all the bugs we saw. So, in the actual action here happening right now, Dan was able to hit Dejaz Pur with Anakin's lightsaber, and then it looks like just Jar Jar and Dejaz Pur have died. Nothing else. How did Mara Jade survive?
But what you're saying is that in this battle, right here, right now, you thought the initial situation was Dan forgot to swing.
I think he maybe auto passed and didn't realize it. Like if you have your cursor in the small window after like maybe he has it set to a few
Yeah, I have no
seconds.
sympathy for that. And Dan, you're my boy, but like I mean, you got a lightsaber there. Like you need to swing.
Well, I mean, we have to take him for his word that it didn't let him, but I've never heard of that happening before, where it just you had so many options to do different things and it didn't let you do any of them.
But now look at it board wise. Wolfman is kind of he got his one force activated from the device, but he's had quite a bit of a disadvantage with Mara Jade facing off against Luke. And if Dan can deliver a significant beatdown here, I'm Wolfman. I'm kind of I would have rather him not have swung.
Yeah, so Mara survived because she's got immunity from the seven side. I missed that at first. I was kind of wondering how she made it there because I'm just paranoid about everything now. Everything must be a bug now. But as usual, 99% of the time, I think Jemp knows the rules better than most people.
He's in only his seventh. We'll still see. Hopefully, he doesn't beat up on Mara Jade too bad after allowing him, or after Wolfman allowed him to have such a significant career.
Yeah. He's got a Ray that he Jedi webbed, so he's got two Jedi webs, it seems. And he does not have an extra saber here, I don't think, because he lost his Luke saber.
3 force and force pile, so a projected stave this back off a stunning minds. Let's see. Nope.
Well, if Dan misses here too. Okay.
Nope.
He's got it.
I'll just feel rude at the Wolfman here that he ends up taking over after allowing that river. And I don't think that he should have allowed that last turn. It seemed like a clear-cut situation of Dan forgetting to swing his lightsaber. And, well, that's not my fault if I'm here.
I mean, like I said, we have to kind of take Dan for his word on that it just auto passed for him. But you're right, Kyle didn't have to let him revert. I mean, this is the semifinals.
He's like those.
Yeah, he's drawn everything from 1 to 3 all game, pretty much it. So
He's a 3+1 from Ray. So, Wolfman might actually get out of this live without even needing to get it if he draws high here. Man, he's drawing nothing but characters.
how many characters do you think Kyle's gotten here? He might be pushing 30.
I mean, based on his destiny draws, it's 45. He does have
That's good.
gave him from what? 4 damage? Yeah. That's a tough spot, but okay.
Yeah, I mean,
He'll retreat. Well, he won't retreat because of subjects.
he could battle them this turn if he's got a couple more characters in hand, but I don't think with 4 cards he's got enough to face off against the lightsaber again. And that 2 battle destiny is really unfortunate for him because Ray is only immune less than 3.
It's also unfortunate for him if he didn't pull that knowledge system.
Yeah. Well, he just shuffled his deck with Utaguta, so he may not get to pull Nalhada again. He might miss it again here. So I think at this point, if I'm Kyle, yeah, I'm going to drain and I'm going to just try to draw some more characters. I think you can eat a drain of 3 for 1 turn and just kind of regroup and make sure that you can get back on your feet here and start retrieving with Scum again.
That the score is going to play Hancock for no reason. Keep in mind that the score is 23, really 24 against, and he's already down to 34. So the end of the 3-card game, he really only has the 10th universe, that 10 cards there. Cushion.
Yeah, but he's got to be able to battle, and you know, with Scum, he's if he gets a few more characters when he draws up here, then he can. I think it's a fair trade. He'll take a drain of 3, then he'll get it back next turn with the battle. But Dan's got to reinforce, I think, at the Carbonite Chamber and just try to keep whittling away.
Where's the battle points at? In the lockout, right?
I didn't see it go lost, did it?
That's well, I mean, that's one of the
Oh, he's looking for it right now. Yep. Nope, he didn't get it.
With Marino.
I wonder, or is it his 1 use card? Yeah, I'm not seeing it lost in the log, so I think it might be that one in his use pile.
Why is that 1 card in his use pile right now?
No, his Wisa was grabbed, so he's got 1 in the used. It must be that.
Right. Where did that card come from?
Oh, he 3PO'd. Where is his battle planes? I didn't see his battle planes in the log at all. I don't... Unless it happened earlier in the game. I don't know. I bet you it's in his hand and he was just cycling. That's my guess. Not sure about the grab on the Wisa either. Dan's been saving his Walkling too. I feel like he's had some chances, like I mentioned earlier with the lightsaber was one when you can really, get back an impactful card, but he's still saving it.
This is solid play, though, to put whatever characters that you have in hand down to the Carbonite Chamber.
Yeah.
Reinforce, double down on that drain of 3.
Yeah, I agree.
$27 in life force now for Wolfman.
Yeah, that's going to be tough because he's got to empty his hand a little bit more if he wants to cause enough damage to Dan. Well, we know he has a Proxima at least, and a Greedo. Yeah, man, he really could use that now HUD activation. And he's going to look for it now. So he's not going to drain this turn. He did not find it. So Dan gets to verify. He must have activated the Nauhada again.
Well, at least he won't draw for Destiny
That is true.
a second time this game.
So we're going to see Hondo come down. Hondo can deploy Aura Singh from reserve, which he does. So she's going to swing 2 draws at Luke plus 1. There's Proxima, like we said. I don't know. I don't know if you want Greedo here or not. I think I would want to make sure that I can retrieve.
Yeah, you want
Yeah.
to retrieve.
Yeah.
As low destiny as they might be.
Yeah. And then next turn, you're going to activate with the console, and you can react with Greedo if you need to. Although he might be cleared here with the Destiny to Attrition and a lightsaber.
This is also a situation where you talk about, scum decks playing CCT instead of court. Well, if you're playing court, because of the fact that the light side player does not have anybody on Tatooine, they would be losing one. And flip the script, you get the retrieval of 1, but the retrieval of 1 is, here goes the battle, is subject to defensive shield prohibition. So if simple tricks is in effect, aim high, etc., and so forth, your retrieval will be canceled.
Yeah, and it turns out Kyle opted to not pay 2 to retrieve, so he wouldn't have been able to fire had he retrieved. Oh, and Dan, he doesn't.
One from it with Louisa. There you go. I mean, okay. That's why he grabbed it.
Well, no, it didn't work. I mean, because Ara adds 1, so she draws 2 and adds 1. So Dan paid 2 for the Wisa to be grabbed, and it didn't have any impact on the swing, on the shot. Wow. Well, that's the first time we've seen Kyle draw above a 3 all game. And he didn't want to retrieve. He wanted to fire, and that was, I think, a gamble. But he knew what his destinies were, so he was pretty lucky to draw the 5 that he did, especially since Dan had the Wisa.
So Dan just gave up the second Wisa on the ladder for nothing.
Yes, correct. Alright, so Kyle's got a Lana Dobreed sacrifice combo, so he's going to keep Proxima's forfeit. She's a 6. Kyle draws a 3. And if he can get a 5 here, he clears the light side from the site, if he's got another 5. It's a 4. I don't think that's going to do it.
Close.
Yeah.
Probably. Unless Dan has another ray over ray, so that he can put it in the copy.
Yeah, it could be. He could have another ray. And then let's see here. Destiny to Attrition. Yeah, okay. So Kyle's going to be left with 1 character, and unless he chooses to forfeit everybody, and then Dan's going to be left with either Rey or Padme. So we already saw the Gick, so if Dan's got like another EPP in his hand, perhaps, he could cause some overflow here that might effectively end the match.
Dangerous people are sinking. You should probably forfeit arcs then.
Instead of Honda, you think? Or are you saying in addition?
But he has attrition right now.
Arc Sing.
Yeah.
No, see, you left our sing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then Dan resiliences Luke back, so he's got another Luke. Why did Padme not die?
I guess Luke had his full bit somehow.
Oh, Dan had a Odin Eslor himself.
Did he?
Yes.
Wow.
So they both had the first aid and the sacrifice combos that turn. Yeah, confirmed.
Crap cards.
Well, that's an even more of a reason that Aura Singh should have been put in the lost pile by Kyle to prevent the overflow here. Because now we know that Dan's got both of these characters plus a Luke in hand. I don't see any secret plans out, so Dan should have put... No, he couldn't put the lightsaber on top because the resilience is on top. I was going to say he could have retrieved the saber back with Walkling, but no, he couldn't. He's going to use Lando instead of Luke anyway. Solid move.
Your destiny still +1.
Yeah, it seems that... Well, Greedo can react here too. Yeah, there's Greedo.
And there he goes.
Oh,
Can't
Dan
see
has
that player.
another...
Oh, man.
He has another one?
This is Odin versus Lana. Grab a card.
So is Dan actually playing two of that?
No, he's not.
How did he get it back then? It could have been the top card of his deck, maybe? But I don't think his reserve was empty last turn. Oh, what did Dan do? He skipped something. He says misclick. Here we go again, Dan. I don't know what his misclick was. He didn't draw Battle Destiny? Is he going to try to revert again?
Is this reality?
What was the misclick? I mean, he didn't...
I thought maybe he had neglected to add a distance to attrition with Padme, which didn't matter.
Well, he couldn't. He didn't have a Skywalker. Rey is not a Skywalker, despite what some people might have you think. Kyle, the generous opponent, will let him revert again. I don't know what his misclick was. JediCon thinks maybe it was, do you want to draw BD? But I think he said misclick before Battle Destiny. Is it? Or maybe not. Maybe because we just saw the Destiny from Darkseid. I thought he had a weapon segment action the way he said it and the timing. But have you ever said, no, I don't want to draw Battle Destiny during a battle when an overflow could win the match for you? Have you ever accidentally said no to that?
Okay, well, let's see where this goes.
So we know Kyle's going to miss the shot, and he's got a 5 on top. Now it's just a question of how high are Dan's destinies.
That's game, folks. That's SWCCG.
see if he does it again. Hey, he's drawing this time. All right, he's got a 5 of his own. So I think it's going to come out to Kyle losing 5. Which is going to put him most likely under 24. Or it's going to empty his hand, which effectively puts him under 24.
Yep. That's a lot.
No, he's got 6 battle damage.
It was an interesting game.
They,
Dan. Tartaglione totally did look good to increase the entertainment factor. From his early battles, the audience chamber that were completely meaningless and fruitless. To his non-stop neglecting to actually just click on routine clicks that he needed to do to place all his cards, and then in reverse.
Yeah, there's been, I think, at least 2 reverts this game. I mean, it was very generous of Kyle to allow both of those reverts, I thought.
And you look at it from the Wolfman's perspective, what could he have done better? We haven't seen a single blue card this game, except for the one that Dan voluntarily lost from his hand, while there still was a system circulating, a whole system circulating in the dark side deck. Yeah, here it comes. Finally.
And
Finally, here it comes. I mean, 3 or 4 turns to it.
yeah, I have.
If Wolfman had played that after seeing that game of 4-0, how can Dan recover that? Obi-Wan Kenobi V maybe? I mean, it's buried in your lost pile.
Yeah.
Man could have just played something like Kazakhstan, or just really anything. He could just have played any of his shit, all of which, by the way, are whole. He could have just played any single one of those ships to now our system, and now all of a sudden he's training for free. Training for 3 total.
Yeah.
1 and 2. And he used all of his force to pursue other options, including retrieval, scum, and donate retrieval.
Yeah, and I think the ironic part of it all is that when he finally was able to pull Nalhada, it's the card that put him below 24. He's down to 17 now. So, I mean...
no chance.
Yeah, no chance.
It's over. Dan is just...
Yeah, I think it's safer to just drain him one more time. Just get his total life force count below 23. Hand and life force, I should say.
That's the Consolation, aka Pittsburgh bracket for you.
Oh, Dan is just going to drop. Okay. So.
Yeah, absolutely. Why would you not? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, just in the off chance, I feel like this is one of those games where like Dan would start drawing up and then Kyle would put back 8 cards and win.
So would it be Dan versus Pat in the finals?
Yeah, that's right.
Of the Pittsburgh bracket.
The Pittsburgh bracket, where Pat and Justin Carulli played in the semifinals on the other side, and Dan here is advancing to the finals to face Pat Johnson. I think they are giving each other the silent treatment until they play.
It's going to make for some awkward interactions.
Yeah, I was wondering if like Team Pittsburgh has to like split up and choose a side here, or
I think we would all jump on Pat's side, especially after this last game. Especially after this last game that we just watched.
well, if we're there were mistakes made. So hopefully Dan learns from it and gives us an entertaining finals.
And let's hope also that the reverts do not impact the finals the way that they did this game.
Yeah.
So severely.
Well, or the bugs. I got my fingers crossed that the bugs don't affect it. Yeah, I mean, thanks for joining me, Reed. Appreciate having the company for the game here. And
My pleasure.
it sounded like you were pretty entertained, I would say.
Would you say?
Sounded like you were pretty entertained.
Oh, yes. Am I not entertained? Definitely entertained. Thank you, Dan.
Thank you, guys. Nice job, Kyle. Good run in the Consolation. Thank you guys for watching, all of you viewers. And we'll get this one up on YouTube for you to rewatch at a later date. So thank you guys all, and have a good night.